There are three huge financial traps that most guys fall into in their early 20s. And believe me, from experience, I will tell you that they will keep you broke if you're not careful. Let's talk about those three major things and how you can avoid them. So boom, you see a guy rolling up in his nice new 2025 Benz. He's wearing Prada everything, and he's posting his lavish lifestyle on Instagram. And you start thinking, I need that too. But what you might not know is that that guy is most likely swimming in debt and just looking the part. A friend of mine actually leased a luxury car at 23 years old to feel the part and feel successful. His car bill was higher than his rent. On the other hand, the wealthiest guy I know drives a Nissan Altima, wears really plain and simple clothing, and only uses Instagram to run his business. The truth is, people who are actually wealthy don't really care about your car. They don't really care about your designer clothes. They just care if you're put together and a decent human being. The only people that are usually impressed by flashy stuff are people that are broker than you. And that's how social media traps you. It makes you think that you need all these things to seem like you made it, when in reality you don't. My rule of thumb is, if you can't afford it 3 times, you shouldn't even try to afford it at all. Instead of that, you should be trying to save more money, plan for something big down the road like purchasing property, or just invest the money that you have. Down the road, once you actually are set up better financially, you could then splurge on the things you want, like that new BMW. You might be thinking, you're young, you got time. I'm gonna tell you why that's wrong. Let's say you're 25 years old and you get into a little fender bender. Now you have to pay $2,000 to fix the damn car, and you don't have anything to fall back on, so you decide to use your credit card to fix it. In 1 month, with today's rates, that credit card bill will be $2,600 instead of $2,000. The point is, when you're young, you're bound to make more mistakes. That's why saving is very critical, and it's not something you should skip. Even trying to save a small percentage of your income is great. And here are some simple numbers for you to follow along with. Let's say you're 20 years old and you decide to spend $5,000 a year investing into the S&P 500 index fund. By the time you're 30 years old, you would have put in $55,000 of your own money and came out on top with a total of $88,000, including your original $55,000. And all these numbers are just on the low end. Now imagine you wait another 5-10 years and it keeps compounding. This is at a 9% interest rate, which is the low end. The key is to take your check, pay for your living expenses, then take 50 to 60% of what's left and invest it into a savings account like Wealthfront or something of that sort. With the remaining amount of money, you could take half of it and put it into some type of index fund, and the rest you could risk because you're still young. Treat saving as non-negotiable because it is your safety net for the future. Now let's talk about your social life. Maybe you have friends who love hitting the bar every single weekend, or hitting the club, or going to fancy expensive restaurants. It's fun, but it drains your wallet. I once had a girlfriend who loved to spend money on going out, dinners, drinks, dressing up, going to the mall, shopping, and it's safe to say that she is not around anymore. I really didn't like trying to keep up with that lifestyle when I was only 20 years old and still trying to make a way for myself. Now, to each their own, so if you do like doing that stuff and you do have the funds to do it, by all means. But here's a Chris Williamson quote that I love. There's no perfect way to live your 20s. You're either gonna live them up and become an underskilled 30-year-old, or you'll work very hard during those years and become an underlived 30-year-old. It's just up to you to decide which trade-offs you think are more valuable, because either way, sacrifices will be made. I'm not saying to ditch your friends or stop dating. I'm saying to set boundaries and set some standards for yourself. What you can do is suggest something different when you go out with people, or set a budget monthly for going out and socializing. You don't need to sabotage your social future. You just need to learn how to work around it. Your 20s are a time to set your foundation up for your future, not dig yourself in a bigger hole and try to get out of it when you're 30. So if you take control now, your future self is going to thank you. I'll see you guys in the next video, and good luck.